betul lah orang tu cakap. Lepas dia buat pengumuman tu, wish, jatuh teruk market gold. US pula naik. Ni memang kena sell ni. Sell. Alhamdulillah. Tengok 1 juta masuk poket lah. Dah dapat 1 juta ni. 1 juta dolar, 4 juta ringgit. Benda-benda macam ni, harta-harta kripto ni, harapnya dapat lah bagi ke anak-anak kita nanti ya. Hai, dapatlah diorang hidup tenang. Ada duit aset kripto ni, dapat diorang guna.
Hello. Esok kan cakap esok.
Hi, Miss Syahira. My name is MADIHAH binti FAWWAZ. This is my sister.
Hi, I'm FARHANAH binti FAWWAZ. Nice to meet both of you. My name is Syahira. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Syahira, our dad died and he has a lot of assets, but all of them are in digital form. So we would like to ask you if we can inherit all of those assets because it's in digital form.
First, you must understand, crypto and NFTs are very popular now. Almost 48 of Malaysians already know about crypto, and many of people invest in it. But our laws, they are not ready. The prescriptions under 2019 only say some digital assets are securities. That means only certain cryptos are covered. NFTs, game skin, TikTok's account, the expensive digital stuff, no other law about that. So now, let's say you find your father's wallet password, like you want to log in and transfer the crypto. But be careful, the Computer Crimes Act 1997 says it is a crime to access someone's computer or data without authorizations. So even if your late father's account, so you can still get into trouble just trying to get it is supposed to be your. So do you understand? So I continue. This is also the Personal Data Protection Act. This law protects the personal people data, but only when they are alive. So nothing in the law says what to do with the data after the person dies, unfortunately. So you cannot just ask Facebook or Instagram to give your father's account. And if we send them a Malaysian court order, most of them doesn't care. So they follow foreign laws like from the US, not in the Philippines. Then there's another question. Most Malaysians are Muslim. So when someone dies, we follow Farhanaah rights to divide the property. But what do you think? It is crypto counted as well? Actually, it is no. Crypto is counted. It is not counted as mal. Meaning, mal is a property that can be inherited in Islam because it is not physical. It is volatile, and some people said it is gharar. What is gharar? Gharar is uncertainty. So no official fatwa from national or state level has said yes or no. So if we take this to Sharia court, they might not even count crypto as 100%. So then you lose it in the inherited methods. So actually, there is a big gap of law. There is no proper rule on how to transfer these digital assets after death. Then nothing clear on ownership rights, consumer protections, or even tax for these assets. If we don't update the law, more families will end up like yours. So they will lose all the important digital property that their parents worked hard to save. So, yes.
So what you are trying to say is, there's nothing that we could do.
For now, not much. You can try some ways like writing to the companies or using whatever password you have. But it is risky. I mentioned that it is risky and might still be illegal. That's why the people right now like lawyers, lawmakers, researchers are pushing for new laws. Until that's happening, we can only wait to try to protect what we have. But I'm really sorry, I don't have better news for you. But I promise I will guide you through the whatever options that we have. So we'll do our best, okay?
My name is not important. What important here is the case where a man died, leaving what behind? crypto, online account that can generate money and other subscriptions online, NFTs worth millions. But then he died. What happened to those assets? What happened to those digital assets? His family? What do they get? Nothing? That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound like justice to me. So, our world have gone through a lot of digitalization. But has been a question to me. Is Malaysia law ready for this digital era? No. Malaysia is not ready at all. Malaysia legal system still stuck in analog era, in the old era where everything is physical, everything requires sign, everything requires footprint and so on. So they are not actually embracing the digital era that we've been talking about. For our law, is there any definition on digital asset? I can confidently say, if you look through all the statutes, there is no definition of digital asset itself. And then, what happened to your online business? It's not even mentioned in the status. So, what happened to you? What happened to your family if you die? What happened to your digital asset? Good luck for them to access anything because they cannot even ask for Google or Facebook to ask for the password in accessing your asset. So I've looked west, to the US, to the country that some of us might not consider looking at because they have different jurisdiction. But in terms of digitalization, they have integrated very well in their law. They have what? They have RUFADA, RUFADAA. It is a specific law that handles matters for digital assets that happen when someone dies. Meaning that they have an extra law that manages any digital asset for someone who maybe planned or didn't plan to whom they should be distributed to. And we don't have law for that. So we should really take lesson from here, even though some of us say that we should not learn from American. We should be humble sometimes. So if we can look here, so for me, you can look here, it's a law that show how things should be managed, show about justice and show about privacy and so on about digital assets. So there is a lot that can be learned from this act. What about in Malaysia? What about us? What about our law? Even us, even the executors of the disease, the administrator of the disease try to access the digital access, they might be liable under our own Malaysian law. They have no backing to request for Google and Facebook for the data in order to access the digital assets, which RUFADA provide clear outline for the executors to request such data. So they have legal backing to ask the corporate about the data, but we don't. I'm not the most perfect expert at this stage, so of course we need to hear from the expert opinion as well in this matter. Some legal experts says that in terms of digital matters, it is a new frontier that our law is not ready yet for. And some even say that people don't plan for their digital asset after their death because the law does not make space for it. So we need to make it happen. And we also need more insights from more digital experts in order to form our law in regards to this digital matter. So, what do we need right now? We're not like that barbaric protest that we shout out problems but never give out or suggest a solution to this problem that we shout about. So, if I confidently say about our problems, I've given details about the problem, of course, there is a solution that our people need, that our community need, that our country really desperately need to make a change right now. And one of the changes is to have a law that have these things. First, the law that have definition of digital assets. The law that clearly mention and clearly line out the procedural on how digital assets should be managed. And a law that have effect on big corporates such as Google, Meta, Facebook and so on. So that such passwords and so on can be given to the executors and the administrators for the disease that have digital assets. And lastly, to make this law known to the people, to make people recognize and understand the law so that they can have proper planning in their estate, especially in regards to digital asset after their death. Because if the law is not known, better not make the law. So before I close my case here, let me remind once again, in terms of age, our law regarding digital matter in Malaysia is still an infant. It's very underdeveloped and still cannot work in demand of our current community. In this era, people have many forms of expensive digital assets. Even goofy picture of monkey in form of NFT can reach up to millions or even billions of ringgit. So, if there is no law to protect these assets, It's as if letting a building worth millions without protection. So it is crucial, and this is also a call for reform for our country to have a specific law that handle these matters as it concerns both financial and both family rights and justice to the community in Malaysia in this era of globalization.
In order to achieve our objective, we need to have a proper and concise methodology planning. In our case, we use the doctrinal, qualitative, and quantitative.
The first method will be doctrinal legal research. This will involve analyzing existing law and legal materials to understand how digital asset inheritance is currently addressed. The research will focus specifically on Malaysia and the United States. It will examine legal texts such as statutes and regulations that govern inheritance and digital asset in both countries. Court decisions from Malaysia and the United States will also be reviewed to see how judges handle these issues in practice. Legal research platforms such as LexisNexis, Westlaw, and Google Scholar will be used to access relevant law and cases. The findings will be categorized into key themes such as how digital assets are defined in law, whether they are included in wills and estate planning, and how courts interpret their inheritance. A literature analysis will also be conducted. This will involve academic articles, journals, and books written by legal scholars and experts from both Malaysia and the United States. The literature will help identify experts on the strength and weakness of current law, challenges in handling digital inheritance, and propose improvement to the legal framework.
Besides using numbers and surveys, we will also use qualitative methods. This helps us understand digital asset inheritance in a deeper way. We will do interviews with key people. These include lawyers who work on estate planning and digital assets, people from digital asset companies, and individuals who have gone through the process of transferring the digital assets. We will ask open-end questions. This allows them to share their experience, problems, and tips. And after the interviews, we will write down everything that was said. Then we will read the transcript many times. We will highlight common ideas and patterns. And finally, we will create a story that explains what we found. This result will go hand in hand with our survey data, and together they will give us a full picture of the challenge and chances in digital asset inheritance.
The second method will be quantitative research. This method will gather public input to complement the legal analysis. A structured survey will be designed to target digital asset users, legal professionals, and estate planners. The survey will include questions on awareness of digital assets and their legal implication, current practices in digital estate planning, and opinions on the adequacy of existing laws. The survey will be distributed online using a QR code shared through various platforms to ensure accessibility and wide reach. After responses are collected, the data will be analyzed using Microsoft Excel. The analysis will include descriptive statistics to summarize participant demographic and trends, and cross-tabulation to explore patterns such as the correlation between age and legal awareness of digital inheritance. These insights will support the legal research by providing practical and real-world perspective.
I will now explain the scope of our research. Our research focuses on the legal governance of digital asset inheritance in Malaysia. It examines loopholes or shortcomings in existing Malaysian laws, including both civil and Sharia law. Our research paper also includes cryptocurrencies, digital assets, NFTs, media accounts, cloud stored data, and other personal digital assets. Our research paper also explores the US legal framework on digital asset inheritance to identify applicable lessons or models. Our paper also incorporates expert opinion, academic literature, policy papers, and legal commentaries. Our research paper uses quantitative, doctrinal, and comparative legal research methodology. And lastly, it proposes a new or improved legal framework tailored to the Malaysian context. Now, moving on to limitations. There are 3 main limitations in our research paper. The first limitation is time restriction. The research was conducted within a very limited academic time frame, which constrained the ability to conduct extensive fieldwork such as interviews, surveys, or longitudinal comparative analysis with multiple jurisdictions. So, we overcame this time restriction by restricting the scope to what we explained just now. The second restriction is the financial constraint. As the research was self-funded and conducted without external grants or institutional sponsorships, financial limitations restricted our access to paid legal databases, access to practitioner insights, and conference materials that may have enriched our study further. We overcame this restriction by using the UITM-sponsored databases available on the Permata website. The last main limitation is our access to data. The study faced limitation in obtaining primary data such as confidential estate administration records or private platform policies from fintech companies. Additionally, there was limited public access to Malaysian court cases or official government reports specifically addressing digital asset inheritance. So we overcame this limitation by only using the data that is available on the internet and on the UITM databases. Some additional limitations are our research paper are limited to federal level and selected state US laws, not an exhaustive study of all jurisdictions in the US. Next, we are only focused on personal digital assets and we exclude corporate, institutional, or business-held digital assets. Third, we have limited judicial precedent in Malaysia, which affects the depth of case law analysis. Fourth, we rely on available literature and secondary data due to the emerging nature of the topic. Lastly, Sharia law analysis is limited to only available fatwas and publications. No direct consultation with religious authorities was conducted.
So why is our study important? Moving on to the significance of the study. First, the study of proposing legal framework governing digital inheritance in Malaysia is expected to raise awareness among the importances of addressing digital asset inheritance, especially in the younger generation and other individuals in the society. As digital assets like NFT, cryptocurrency, in-game property become increasingly valuable, this research will help individuals to better understand on how such asset can be protected and also be passed securely on their loved one. By exploring both the legal gap in civil and also Sharia law, this study encourages Malaysia, especially the younger generation, to start thinking about digital inheritance and also how to protect their digital right. So the study is also expected to spark wider societal discussion on the need for clearer law, as in the legal framework and ethical practices surrounding digital inheritance, promoting a more informed and legally conscious community. Furthermore, this research is relevant to the existing law, such as the Prescription Order 2019, the Computer Crimes Act 1997, and the Personal Data Protection Act PDPA 2010, which indirectly affect digital inheritance matters. It also highlights the need for clearer Sharia guidance on the classification and transfer of digital assets for Muslims in Malaysia.
Mati ke? Alamak.
Mungkin korang boleh send nama dia dalam caption nanti. Hey. Law such as the Prescription Order 2000. Okay. Dah.